Today, you're connected more than ever. Your friends, your family, your life. Having a partner that understands banking is what you do on your time, anywhere you like. It's about being connected. Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
Sponsored by Renaissance Bank.
Hello and welcome to Newsbreak for Tuesday, January 17th. I'm your host, Chris Kiefer. Remember, you can catch Newsbreak each weekday at 7 a.m. Watch us at djournal.com, Facebook, YouTube, or the Daily Journal's mobile apps for Apple or Android devices. Let's start with your Weather Underground forecast. Make sure you have your umbrellas or raincoats today. There will be a lot of rain in the forecast today and over the next few days. We're looking at thunderstorms today with a high of 69 and a low of 50, a 90% chance of rain. Your 3-day outlook, Wednesday is calling for overcast skies with a high of 61 and a low of 55, a 20% chance of rain. On Thursday, more rain, high of 65, low of 56, a 100% chance of rain. And on Friday, partly cloudy with a high of 69 and a low of 54 and a 10% chance of rain. Let's take a look now at the top headlines for today. A new proposal for how Mississippi funds its public schools was unveiled on Monday. The plan includes more money for disadvantaged students, but its net result remains unclear. During the fall, legislative leaders hired New Jersey-based EdBuild to make recommendations for changing the formula used to provide state funds for public schools. That group announced its findings on Monday in a crowded committee room at the state capitol. EdBuild Chief Executive Officer Rebecca Sibilia provided a litany of recommendations on how to fund schools based on the complexity of their enrollment. For example, schools would receive extra money for educating special needs students and for students for whom English is a second language. They also would get an additional 20% to educate students from low-income families. It was not clear, however, whether the formula would provide more state dollars or whether local school districts would have to contribute more funding themselves. The current Mississippi Adequate Education Program was passed into law in 1997. It has been fully funded only twice. Some form of the recommendation will likely be incorporated into a bill over the coming days. Tupelo's 4-day celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. drew to a close on Monday. About 350 people packed the gymnasium of St. Paul Methodist Church to celebrate King's life and legacy. The event began with a motorcade through Tupelo. The birthday celebration was sponsored by the Modern Beauticians Club. It included the awarding of 5 college scholarships. Junior nursing student Lakin Lyons won the $2,000 Alicia Morris Memorial Scholarship. Lyons is a Shannon High School graduate. Meanwhile, Jamie Cook, Lyric Smith, Marlon Sanders, and Mackenzie Young each won scholarships worth at least $500. Guest speaker Reverend Elston Charles Kemp said there can be no real unity or real peace without true equality. He said progress has been made, but the journey continues. A group of Northeast Mississippi high school students soon will begin a creative writing partnership with Mississippi writers. Together, they will be exploring the concept of community betterment. Students will work with the professional writers to generate poems, stories, and essays in response to the prompt, "What is a problem in your community and how can you fix it?" The project comes from the group Write for Mississippi. The organization uses creative writing and storytelling to further the cause of community engagement, social justice, free speech, and historical responsibility. So far, teachers from Morville, Baldwin, Oxford, Pontotoc, South Pontotoc, Byhalia, and Aberdeen high schools are among those who have agreed to participate. A group of around 40 writers have also expressed interest. Those writers will go into public schools and work with students to answer the prompt and turn their ideas into writing. Students then will be able to submit their work for potential publication in a collection of student writings the group plans to publish this fall. And in sports, the Mississippi State men's basketball team is off to its best SEC start in 7 years. But the Bulldogs will get a big litmus test tonight when they host 5th-ranked Kentucky. The game tips off at 6 and will air on ESPN. Mississippi State is 3-1 in the SEC after consecutive wins over LSU, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. Kentucky has a roster filled with blue-chip prospects, including 4 starters averaging 13 or more points per game. Freshman Malik Monk is the SEC's leading scorer, averaging 21.8 points per game. The Wildcats enter with 15 wins and 2 losses. They are 5-0 in SEC play. MSU coach Ben Howland said tonight's game gives the Bulldogs a chance to measure themselves against the very best. Meanwhile, Ole Miss hosts Tennessee tonight at 8. That does it for Newsbreak on this Tuesday. Don't forget, this show is just one of the many online offerings courtesy of the Daily Journal that gets you news off the page and on the go. We will have an episode of the Capitol View webcast this morning at around 10:30 at thejournal.com. Daily Journal Capitol Bureau Chief Bobby Harrison and Brad Locke will talk about what is taking place in state politics. They will also have more details about Monday's presentation by EdBuild. Each story discussed today on Newsbreak can be found in your Daily Journal or online at thejournal.com, where you can also find an episode of Newsbreak each weekday morning at 7 a.m. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Kiefer. Have a great Tuesday.